I'm saying? That's the only thing about Carmen San Diego. I remember the game, the PC game, and it kind of
that was
bored the hell
everywhere.
out of you after a while. I'm like, Carmen San Diego is the more impressive relative of Waldo.
Yeah, but she and also taught you. That's what, because I had Carmen. I had it on the I had Carmen on the Wii. That's the last one I had. But it was like
That was the whole point of the game.
that was basically the one I had was like a math game, which I didn't like. But I liked the word in the world because it was giving you geography.
Yeah, well, things like this.
I didn't like time. I didn't like time because we was taught about history differently. So a lot of shit I was like getting wrong. But you can't get it wrong with the geography of shit. So I used to like the where in the world. That was my favorite one. Where in the world is Carmen San Diego?
I was played. It was one called Where in Time was Carmen San Diego.
Yeah, that was the one, and the chief was still there. She still hosted the show. Rest in peace. I forgot the sister name, but you know the one when she did the voice for the what's that movie with the Warriors, and she was on Lean on Me. She was the mama. That to this day I wonder who mama she was. Because they never show her kid. Or low key, I used to think she was the mama. You remember the boy who was selling dope in the school? I think that was his mama, and she was mad he got kicked out because he got kicked out. He was selling dope. He beat up that white boy in the lunchroom, and they had to arrest him and shit. And I think that was his mom, but they never explained it. She just came out of nowhere talking shit. But that woman, she passed away a few years ago. She played the chief. She was on it. It was a whole different song too. It's like we're in time and we're going to go through history. It was like a whole different song, and I didn't like it because I would be getting shit wrong because I'm like, no, that's not what happened. You know what I'm saying? But that's how I was taught differently. They say his story it goes on his story. Whoever you heard it from, that's the story you're gonna hear. So
there's been a lot of them that are what's the word put out there as heroes. They were doing some really crappy stuff.
Yeah, that's a common thing all over the board. They say one man's freedom fighter is another man's terrorist. You know what I'm saying?
Vice versa, actually.
Yeah, vice versa. Actually, totally agree with that statement. But shit,
right. You understand though, because I was glad that I got raised on what is it, the Daily Show? Trevor Noah came on there.
I love Trevor Noah.
He had a retired general on there, and he asked, "Aren't y'all making more quote unquote terrorists?" By which y'all do, and he gave an example of one target they were trying to kill in some foreign country, obviously. He happened to be playing with his grandson at the time, and they ended up killing both of them.
Who?
The U.S. military.
Oh, they ended up killing a terrorist and his kids?
They were going after this target. He was playing with his grandson at the time. They had eyes on him. They took him out. They had to make the call. Somebody else was on there he wrote a book about the government. They have to make a call if it's going to be 40 or more casualties. So I was like, so if it's under 40, 39 people can get wiped out.
There's a loophole.
They got to make a call to the president.
There's a loophole. And it works. It works.
But this is the thing. 39 to get wiped out, you say, because that's like somebody coming over here chasing the target just from Mexico. So they blow up 10 houses trying to get at this dude. You think somebody from America is not going to want some revenge? What you going to do, sue them?
That's exactly what you do. Because we in the land. Because we in the land, listen, I was telling somebody that, I say, people don't think it's weird, but we are in the land where they convinced us as people, as human beings, to be afraid of paper. Like, I don't know how many times I hear people see this and say, oh, this bill says you have to pay this. No, you don't. If you don't have the money, you can't pay it. That's that. It's not that serious, but people be acting like it's in stone. This bill says this or this. Yeah, I see the bill. And yeah, if you don't pay it, they would cut off that service or whatever you're doing through it. But if you can't pay it, you just have to deal. Life goes on. But I see people like Obama was saying his mama, her last few years of her life, she was more concerned with paying her medical bills than getting healthy. And that's a real thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's where all that shit come from. That type of thinking.
Yeah, I mean, that applies to medical bills.
It's that we in a world that that we're in a country, not a world. It's not the whole world. We're in a country and society in which paper is intimidating. So yeah, you can do all this type of shit, and instead of expecting retaliation in America, they expect you to sue. So if somebody blew your son's brains out, they will expect you to retaliate. They expect you to take it to court and fill out this paperwork and stand in line and do. You know, this is what they expect you to do, and it's like, no, that's not what it is. This ain't that. But we are in a country in which we got people petrified over. Like Cat Williams was saying one time, shit, I done seen people up here, I got a $1,500 light bill, I'm about to die, nigga. I've been trying to light some candles anyway. I'm gonna light this blunt. Like, yeah, you gotta put your mind, you can't be intimidated by shit like that, because I had to tell the car people, they was like, they I fucked them up because I'm not afraid of credit. I said, I really don't want it no more. I really don't need it.
Right.
Life goes on. I said, but by the time I'm dead, I want my credit score to be 37, because it's a scam. It's a scam trying to make me get this money from you all, but you in my pocket forever until I pay off this so-called money I gave you plus extra, and you give me so much. That's crazy. Right. So my car crashed and shit. The insurance paid it off now, so you got to pay the late fees and shit and blah blah blah. So I ain't paying that shit. Well, it's gonna be on your credit. I don't care. Put it on there. I want for the rest of my life, if I go into a car dealership, that they turn me away. I don't want another car note ever. That's the devil. You got to pay a car note and fucking insurance. And they don't understand why people are scamming and doing PP loans and stealing cars and taking these charges and all this shit. Yeah, it's a wild game out here. Rent that went overnight, rent $1,500 and shit. There's all type of shit going on. You want me to add to it a car bill and the insurance for it?
You're right.
You know, so that's almost, for some people, that's almost $1,000 a month. It's definitely more or close to $500 a month, you know. So it's like, wow. So I said, I'm just going to buy used from now on. I'd rather just pay the insurance and buy used and maintain this used car and buy another one. I ain't paying.
I was just about to say that. You know, put the work in yourself.
Put the work in yourself. So, yeah, but
you can go on YouTube and look up how to do whatever you need to do.
It's so real.
You got to be willing to put in the time.
It's so real. Yeah, it's so real when you get into situations like that. But when you in that world when you're afraid of paper, they can say shit to you like that, and you don't say, well, I got to pay you all this. I'm trying to get this together. I know people right now. I'm trying to pay off my credit. I'm trying to pay off my credit.
Don't you think that gets passed on from your forebears?
Of course. It's all a cycle. Of course. I'm totally thinking. And I think I'm going deeper. And I think it goes into what's put into our heads. I do a show right now. You know, I've been working back on the stand-up. You know, you will see more of that on reallah313.com. I'm going to take my set. I got a set coming up November 8th. I'm doing it with the great Mike Larry. I mean, I'm name calling because I've been mingling with the peoples.
You mean December 8th, right?
No, I said November 18th.
Oh, okay. I was going to say 8th. So you got time machine.
Yeah.
You're going to go back in time to do a show.
I might do. Yeah, you don't judge me for that. I don't need no judgment for it. But anyway, yeah. I got to act when I bring that up. I bring that whole, we in a world in which people are fucked up over paper. And and like you say, what they expect him to assume, that's the American way. They trying to convince the world, and they put it into little shit that we doing. Like I mentioned that how, and you know this shit because your father taught us this shit. How, and the master taught us this shit. How through like advertisements and movies, they tell us to do one thing, but then when we do it, they say we wrong. Remember, Malcolm X was saying the government seal is on a liquor bottle. They sell you this liquor, but when you're drunk, they arrest you. They call you a drunkard.
Right.
They put you in jail for this shit.
They're authorizing it.
They authorize. So it's like, so I believe it goes deeper. Not just a cycle of your parents or grandparents bringing on to you, but you got little shit on TV every day telling you you have to pay bills. You have to do this. Get this together. The IRS may come after you. Okay, fuck it. If they take my house, then what? I have to get another house. You think I'm gonna stop living because they took you know what I'm saying? Like, you think if they took my car, I'm gonna stop living? Like, how far would they go? To get nothing.
Yeah, that messed me up with what they're doing in Detroit.
Unless they killing people out here to pay bills.
Because in Detroit, they were talking about the elderly water being cut off, and they cut it off for a minute because they're like, how they supposed to wash their hands because of COVID if they ain't got no water? As soon as the vaccine comes out, they like, all right, they got to pay them bills again.
Yeah. Man,
I'm like, they're elderly. What do you want them to do?
Yeah, and on some levels, it's kind of like they suggesting, because I heard they extending retirement. It sounded like they suggesting they want people to work longer. So,
but you know, they're moving the retirement age up.
But listen, I already retired. I don't like you see, we running our shit, we producing our own shit. Yeah, we ain't as rich and famous as we're gonna be, but real is still out here. I'm building some more name tags. This episode is sponsored by Sauces, my jam company, Custom Jams. Come taste our signature strawberry blackberry jam, and it's a whole thing out here. But yeah, I don't work like that for nobody else no more. I'm not killing myself no more. I made that choice right before COVID, and then COVID kind of came like a blessing for me, and like allowed me to step away from working for somebody comfortably and get out that mentality, and which it's always been pumped into our heads. But yeah, I was a victim of it, of thinking, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta pay this bill, I gotta do that, I gotta do what I can do. That's all I can say. That's all I can say to my life. And yeah, and as you know, you've been here forever. When it was really has been a thing in the movement. We slowly progressing, and that's what everything is. I slowly moved myself. I had to make that sacrifice. That's the first thing you do when you run your dynasty is separate yourself, depending on somebody. And I don't depend on nobody no more. I literally hustle up what I can. Through other people. I'm not gonna act like I'm just sitting here making money out of thin air, but at the same time, I don't fuck around and give nobody 40, 50, 60 hours no more. So yeah, that's part of that mentality of getting away from that mentality of that cycle of we got to be afraid of paper. You can't tell me an envelope that came in the mail got you scared. I be seeing people panic about the divorce and shit over bills, which you can either pay them off or you can't. If you can't pay the bill, you see what I'm saying? Like let's say out of nowhere, if out of nowhere your rent turned to $5,000, let's say they extended it. They say you got to pay this right now. You got to sign a lease and you got to pay it. Give us $5,000 in the rent, about to be $1,800 a month from now on. Either you're gonna be able to come up with that money, alias, or you got to move. That's it. But it's people out here who will panic when they get that letter in the mail. We already late on the rent. Now they extended it, and you got to pay for it. You don't got a good job. Blah blah blah. And it turns to all this stuff because we in a country that taught us how to be afraid of paper, and that's what you say. Yeah, then you get them. They got this mentality. They take it out into the world where the world ain't dealing like that. You like, yeah, you do all this shit. You done killed this nigga and his grandkids. Okay, you done wiped the world from a terrorist, but you done fucked up a family of 2 cousins or 2 brothers or 2 sons or 2 nephews. So now you got more terrorists because now they about to come back and they about to sue you. They're not about to wait to go to court to talk to you. They about to kill every American they see. You see what I'm saying? But in America, we've been raised on so much bullshit that you fuck around and like you said, live the life and not realize, like for example, I use this all the time. Every movie you see, every TV show you watch, forever, the thing be guys hanging out and what they usually doing or everything, they meet up at a restaurant or a bar and they buy women drinks and they take them home. They don't take them home to try to play cards with them or something. They take them home trying to fuck these hoes. Now you find out that Bill Cosby was doing it in the 70s and it turns into, oh no, he shouldn't been getting them girls drunk. He should have been buying them pills. What's wrong with him? And it's like, no, these hoes was coming out to get high with him to fuck him. You act like he was just locking bitches up in the cage or some shit. But they don't talk about the woman's responsibility in the day. We always hear about Bill Cosby. And if you say out loud that you don't support what they do to Bill Cosby, now it turns into you a rapist. And it's like, no, I just think if a bitch met a nigga at 2 in the morning and he gave her some pills and she took them, he didn't force them down her throat. And she, oh no, I'm high. And then you wake up and he on top of you and you on some 30 years later, after I got the doctorate, I was figuring maybe I should sue him. You know, no, bitch, I'm not really taking you seriously. So, but we're in a world that pumps us up to be afraid of paper, to get drunk, but we can't get drunk, but they sell us liquor everywhere. I walk around with a water bottle right now. It's shaped like Thor's hammer. I know it's wild, but I like it. I don't care. But, I got more people who come to me and think it's a bottle of liquor and be surprised when I say water. Like, oh my God, you wild as hell. You walk around with water like this? Yes. People walk around with water bottles. Mine just happen to be shaped like a hammer. But it's water. But it's weird to people to see me drinking water because we've been pumped up in our heads so much that you got to drink when you get with people. If you walk around with drinks, it has to be liquor. You know, it's foreign to people to hear that somebody is not walking around with a big jug of liquor all the time or a big jug of wine. And some people
I have wondered about the one example that they point out in many different mediums, talk shows, whatever, talk about them using underage girls to promote lingerie and
They use
I'm like,
underage
if they put
kids
them,
to promote so much shit. That's another thing. That's another
but I'm
conversation.
saying to have them on a, billboard, whatever type of medium nigga, but you're not
That's a
supposed
whole
to have sex with
different conversation to show, because we also, on top of being raised on bullshit, we have such a rape culture, and not just in America but around the world, that shit like that happens and you don't see it until later. Like, for example, watch the movies back in the 80s, and they got the little boys, little teenage boys, and barely naked,